During Lent, we often give up something we enjoy. I know I have. I gave up coffee and chocolate at the same time at once. And that was tough. But Lent gives us the opportunity to gain something we need. As we enter an election year stoked by fear, distrust, and even anger, we need to become better listeners to help us gain a better understanding of those who live, think, vote, and worship differently than ourselves. You see, when we understand, we can empathize. When we empathize, we build bridges to one another. Mind you, we don't have to agree with one another, but when we seek to better understand the world around us, we don't pigeonhole people. We see them as a part of us. You see, it's hard to hate, hard to fear what you know. Years ago, as a Metro columnist for a daily newspaper in Greensboro, North Carolina, I spent a Saturday night a week before Easter in a dirt parking lot underneath a downtown bridge. I came to see a church with no walls. Food and clothes covered a collection of cafeteria tables in the back, and a lectern and rows of metal chairs were placed up front. It created a makeshift sanctuary to help those with little hope hear a message of hope. That's where I met Anita. She was right there on the front row. A guitarist in a Pittsburgh Steelers hat had just begun singing Amazing Grace. And with every verse, Anita yelled, "Hallelujah!" Anita was exuberant because her life wasn't. She was a recovering crack addict who lived by herself behind a locked door of a federally subsidized apartment. She kept it locked because she wanted to keep away from her friends who wanted to only get high. She told me, right there in the front row, "I thank God I'm here." I found Phil in the back row in that makeshift church. He was a former mechanic who spent time in prison for property crimes. He lived in a tent in the woods near downtown Greensboro. I talked with him as he stood near Cynthia, a member of a local church. Cynthia had brought these 4 big cafeteria pots of homemade vegetable soup. She made enough to feed 200 people, to feed people just like Phil. Phil told me, "You focus so much on negativity when you're homeless, and you really need something really positive in your life. So this is important. This is a positive place to be." When he said that to me, Cynthia handed Phil a gift, a plastic bowl of her soup. "Glad you can come," he said to me. The other day, a friend of mine who works at HPU stopped me in the hallway, and we shared stories of our Christmas and our kids. She then showed me what she gave herself for Christmas. It's the word love, tattooed on the underside of her right wrist. She sees it every day because she's right-handed. It reminds her to lead with love and be more patient and less angry with everyone around her. That includes her 2 kids. There's some kind of power in that. Take it from someone who knows, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He wrote, "I am convinced that love is the most durable power in the world. It is not an expression of impractical idealism, but practical realism. Far from being the pious injunction of a utopian dreamer, love is an absolute necessity for the survival of our civilization." King penned that in 1957. But his take is timeless. Without love for one another, we white-knuckle through life. With love for one another, we live in the present tense and fuel what we see in Hebrews 10:24. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Lent has the power to do that. It can motivate us to seek out hallelujahs and work together to create a community flush with life, hope, and peace. That's much better than dishing coffee and chocolate for 40 days, don't you think? I mean, look what we gain. we gain much.